Are you tired of handhelds that don't respect your free time? Sick of juggling devices like some kind of game-hungry circus clown? Oh no, my backlog! Introducing the Steam Deck. It's a gaming PC, it's a retro machine, it's all sorts of stuff. Girls might not sit in your lap, but the Steam Deck will. Play AAA games, emulate obscure Japanese pinball titles, and ignore your responsibilities in style. Call now and you may qualify for absolutely nothing. This isn't a real commercial, it's just an intro to a YouTube video. Side effects of Steam Deck ownership may include excessive game hoarding, minor thumb soreness, digital store addiction, and arguing with strangers online about Linux. Hey there, how's it going? I'm TechDweeb, welcome. Thanks for clicking on the video today. I want to talk about two things today. First, I was thinking about this one dried up pen that has been on my desk for a while. My mom keeps trying to throw it away, but I won't let her. I feel like that would be like betraying the little guy. He wrote some good lists. He deserves better than the trash. So yeah, that's something I've been dealing with. And the second thing I want to talk about is the Steam Deck. I was thinking about this the other day and I got the itch to make this video. How the Steam Deck is still so good, even now, like 3 years later. And also how, even still, how much better it is than almost everything. Despite having a lot of ways to play games, everything from retro handhelds to high-end Android doodads to my full-on big-ass gaming PC to some really strong and powerful handheld PCs, I just keep grabbing the deck. It's sunk its adorable little claws into me and I'm okay with that. I'm here for it. It is by far the computer I game on the most. Actually, it might straight up be my most gamed on gaming thing. And it's not the most powerful device I have, nor is it the most portable or pocketable. It has its shortcomings, but it's the one. I want to play most of my games on this thing, and I do that. It's crazy to me that the Steam Deck still rocks my world, even after all this time. It's been out for over 3 years at this point, and now we have fancy new doodads like the ROG Ally whatever, and the new Legion Go thingies, and other handheld PCs on the way, and of course the Switch too. And yet, still, the Steam Deck is the one I'm recommending to people more than any other. My friends, my family, people I meet online, the cashier at the bulk food store. I'm singing the praises of the deck to anyone that will listen. And today I just kind of want to celebrate all the reasons why I love the deck, why it's changed the way that I approach gaming, and why, even now, mid-2025, the Steam Deck crushes everything. And a bit of a dramatic title, I guess, but let's see if I can convince you. So let's get this party started and whip out our decks. Just maybe close the blinds first. This is gonna get intimate. First off, let's talk about the deck itself, the object, the artifact, the sacred plastic slab. I love the Steam Deck for a million reasons, but the number one reason, above all else, is just how it feels in my skinny, dweeby hands. The moment I grab it, it just melts into my palms like it was forged by ancient beings, specifically for me. And I hold a lot of handhelds. That's basically my thing. Retro handhelds, handheld PCs, the odd peanut butter sandwich, and none of them fit into my hands quite like the deck does. The ergonomics are just dialed right in. The controls feel right. The thumbsticks and the buttons, the trackpads, once you get used to them, they're so super handy, especially for mouse-heavy games, and especially if you like playing retro games, like me. Old PC games and DOS games do not play nice with controllers, but you can play tons of those just fine on the deck with a trackpad. And the desktop stuff too. Desktop mode is shockingly usable. It's not perfect, but for a Linux-based portable gaming thingy, it's amazing how easy it is to navigate, install stuff, and even tinker on the deck right in your hands. The deck isn't just fun to game on, it's fun to touch. Which I know sounds weird, but I think you get it. You're a bunch of sickos like me. I call my Steam Deck the Portable Backlog Obliterator 5000. No, not really. I actually call it the Steam Deck. But I should call it that because it's an awesome name and it's so freaking true. The deck makes it easy to actually play your Steam library because the Steam Deck has an amazing sleep mode, barely touching the battery when it's asleep, so I can grab it and wake it with the push of a button and literally be up and running into my game in seconds. If, like me, you have a huge backlog of games that is growing by the day, with humble choice and bundles you can't pass up, new games that look great, old games that are dirt cheap, and of course, Steam sales that never pass me by without dumping a heck ton of random lovely games into my library, having a device that makes it quick and easy nay, effortless, to just grab and be in a game within seconds has made it so I play more games. I've discovered a ton of great games that I can guarantee I wouldn't have discovered if not for the Steam Deck. I mean, I'm a busy dweeb. I have lots of important things to do. I have people to argue with in my comment section, I'm building a new commander deck in Magic the Gathering, and my weekly Shadow Dart game takes a lot out of me. And I think for adults with limited time, the deck is just so easy to grab for a quick couch session or some bedtime gaming. The easy as heck pick up and play format lowers friction so that games can be more easily incorporated into your life, and it turns the guilt of your backlog into actual progress. I'm proud that I've discovered all these awesome games because of it. There is no competition when it comes to handhelds. SteamOS is miles ahead of any other operating system in terms of features, ease of use, customizability, expandability, and funability. I got a Switch 2 recently for some reason, and I was setting it up and going through the device settings and the account stuff and the eShop, and I hated it. It felt so primitive compared to SteamOS, just so locked down and basic. Like it has training wheels you can't take off. And my Windows handhelds are the opposite. They're too open. And because of that, all too often I'm reminded that Windows is running with clunky pop-ups that break my full screen apps, weird mouse touchscreen nonsense, updates that get in the way of my fun, and just stuff that's happening all the time in the background while I'm just trying to enjoy a game. SteamOS is pure freedom. It's a system that is designed not to prevent you from doing things, but to give you all the tools you need to do everything you could want to do. It's made to serve you your games and have all the options available when you need them to tweak the performance or the controls or the interface. No bloatware, no pop-ups, no drivers or startup junk. It feels perfectly console-like while also feeling perfectly PC-like in the flexibility. SteamOS makes it easy to do everything you want, but also it's just fun. There's no barriers between you and your games and the options you need, and it's designed to make you love exploring your game library, tweaking your device, customizing whatever you want, and just playing those games. And it's as deep as you're willing to go. It's simple and straightforward out of the box, but there is deep customization for tinkerers. I love that it has a full-fledged desktop mode to give you all the power of a desktop PC, while at the same time, the main gaming mode feels like a perfect console experience. It's like it was made for gamers like me. Because it was probably. This one should be obvious, but the OLED upgrade to the Steam Deck really took it to the next level. This was a genius move by Valve to upgrade the deck the way they did, but still offer the older version at a discount. The LCD deck is still great, but the OLED screen on the new deck, along with the other improvements they made, were exactly what I needed to make this my main gaming device. OLED screens are so worth fighting for. I can enjoy gaming on non-OLED screens, and I know lots of people don't care one way or the other, but for me, the OLED screen on the deck makes my games explode with color and brightness right into my face. And those pure dark inky blacks make the game look like it's just got kind of like sitting on the surface of the screen. Yeah, as if it's like a printed photo rather than a screen. It's hard to describe until you see it, but if you have an OLED deck, you know what I'm talking about. Plus, we get HDR support, which is a big boost in contrast for the games that support it, and that 90 Hz smoothness is the perfect middle ground for the deck because you can take advantage of that for lightweight games or lock it at 45 Hz for more demanding games for that silky smooth frame pacing. And there's other improvements like it's cooler and quieter, better battery, and most importantly, much improved vent fumes that are still just as huffable today as the day I unboxed it. Let's be real, the Steam Deck does not crush everything in terms of raw power. If you want sheer brute force, there are stronger handhelds out there that'll melt your face and your wallet. But in terms of bang for the buck, the deck is undefeated. Valve can sell the Steam Deck cheap because they are the OS, and they know you're going to spend the rest of your life buying games on Steam during sales that you promised yourself you'd skip. It's $399, and that's like toaster money in gaming PC terms. The Switch 2 is $449, and I'd argue the deck gives you more long-term value than Switch 2, because your Steam library isn't chained to hardware that'll vanish like Nintendo's online services at the stroke of midnight. And because it's the most popular handheld PC, developers want their games to run well on it. They strive for that coveted Steam Deck verified badge to slap on their store page like it's a trophy. And you'll see that badge all over the place, even on big AAA games. So no, it's not the most powerful handheld, but it's the most powerful where it counts. The conjunction of performance, portability, price, and playability. The 4 Ps. Actually, let's make that 5 Ps and add pungency. Nothing on this earth beats the smell of those Steam Deck vent fumes. Even on mine, almost a year later, it still smells like it's fresh out of the box. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. The Steam Deck might not be the most powerful handheld PC, but if you already have a gaming desktop, that might not matter. Your desktop is your big serious gaming setup, and your handheld is for gaming on the go, or in my case, going to the couch or the tub. Everyone knows about game streaming, like running games on your desktop PC and streaming them to your handheld, but I used to think it was all the same. Like streaming to an Android handheld or another handheld PC should feel the same as streaming to a Steam Deck, right? Wrong. So wrong. I've done a ton of streaming, but nothing prepared me for how absurdly good it feels on the Steam Deck. Everything syncs perfectly. Steam input, resolution, HDR, frame pacing, it all works. Just works seamlessly. On other devices, there's always a little friction. Something that feels off. There's things that come up that remind you that you're streaming a game, not playing locally. But with the deck, it honestly feels like the games are running right there on the device. Obviously, you need a decent Wi-Fi router for this, but yeah, if you have a good router, there's no reason not to do this. I don't have great internet for cloud services like GeForce Now or Game Pass. I live in the desolate wilderness of North Ontario, so I can't speak to those services, but I've heard good things, so use those if you have good internet, I guess. But local streaming on the deck is honestly a bit magical. You get beautiful OLED visuals, it runs cool and quiet, and super long battery life. The deck barely sips power because your PC is doing all the hard work. What a life of luxury for a hungry gamer. Anytime I show off a fancy retro handheld, I get a flood of comments like, at that price, just get a Steam Deck. And they're not wrong. I mean, sort of. Lots of retro handhelds are better specifically at retro games, but the deck isn't a one-trick pony. It's a whole gaming circus of retro games and full-on PC games. You can slap on EmuDeck or Retro Deck and turn your Steam Deck into a retro gaming machine with shockingly little effort. I made a video all about Retro Deck. Check that out in the link below if you want to get that up and running. The install is super easy, and it really does feel like your deck becomes two things: a handheld PC and a retro console. And it does both equally well, and it absolutely smokes any retro handheld when it comes to raw power per dollar. And then you can dock it to a TV and grab a controller and boom, instant living room retro machine. GameCube, PS2, PS3, 3DS, Xbox, Xbox 360, even Nintendo Switch, no problem. And all the older stuff runs at low wattages for insane battery life. When it comes to tinkering, the deck is great because it doesn't lock you down. They straight up partnered with iFixit because they want you to be able to do your own repairs and upgrades. You can swap the SSD, use any old micro SD card you have lying around, and there is zero proprietary nonsense, unlike certain other handhelds. Cough cough. The deck practically begs you to tinker with it. You want a dual boot, install mods, replace the thumbsticks with something fancier? Go nuts. The deck is your device. Valve just said, here's the keys to the castle. Try not to burn it down. And the story of the Steam Deck doesn't stop here because it just keeps getting better. Valve updates SteamOS all the time, squashing bugs and adding features and making things smoother. Proton, the magical compatibility wizard that lets you play Windows games on Linux, that keeps getting better constantly. Games that didn't work 6 months ago suddenly run great. And it's all because Valve wants you to love playing them on your Steam Deck. The hardware too. Like I said, with the OLED model, Valve didn't just slap on a shiny new screen. They refined a ton of stuff. Better thermals, better battery, better build. This is what I want to see out of a hardware refresh. Not just a visual upgrade, but a ton of improvements under the hood too. Valve treats the deck like a long-term platform, not some throwaway gadget. Unlike some other handheld PC makers that have some new shiny thing every few months. The deck holds steady, doing what it's always done, but just better and better every day. It's not trying to get replaced every year. Valve doesn't make the deck because they want you to buy a gadget. They're building it to last, to craft what handheld PC gaming is, how we view it, and what we expect. And it's because the Steam Deck still crushes everything, even after all these years. This shows how well they did and continue to do. And that makes me feel good on the inside, like emotionally, but also thermally, because it runs cooler now. I don't know how it happened, but this chonky little Linux machine stole my heart. I was so reluctant to get a Steam Deck early on, and my biggest regret in life is not getting one sooner. That might be an exaggeration. I'm not going to say the deck is perfect, but it is perfect for me. Despite having a plethora of other handheld PCs, the deck fits in my life in a way that no other device does. It's like my gaming soulmate, if soulmates were made of transparent black plastic with orange accents. If you've got a Steam Deck, you probably get it. I'm probably preaching to the choir. If you don't have one, well, maybe this helped you understand why people like me won't shut up about it, you know? Anyways, thanks for listening to me ramble about my precious baby. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you love about your Steam Deck, or if I forgot anything big and obvious, like, I don't know, the fact that you can use it to do your taxes or whatever. But that'll do it from me for today. I gotta go recharge my battery now, with root beer, obviously. I'm TechDweeb after all. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.